Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Had a great show lined up, and we'll get started with weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. Principal Mike Heppenstall and a great staff out there. I ran into some of them the other night. Those guys and girls do a great job teaching out there. So run by and check out all the programs they have to offer. Now, today it's going to get up as high as 85 degrees. So, that little cool snap didn't last real long, but it was really nice. My kids really enjoyed going outside and doing some things in the outdoors yesterday in that cool weather. Low tonight 64. The water temperature is still at 82 degrees. Take a look at our river readings. The Apalachicola, Bluntstown is just staying right there where we want it, right at 4.9. It's been that way all week long. For the weekend, it's the same way. The Chocolate Hatch at Caryville, it's looking good. It's at a 6.3. It's dropping out this morning, and Friday's still going to be a slow drop. It will be some great fishing on both of the river systems. If you get a chance this weekend, do some good freshwater fishing. I promise you there's going to be some brim and shell crackers brought out of those places. Now let's take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, and their motto is "When caring counts." I know a lot of folks up there, some of those boys watch the show on a regular basis, and there's good folks, and they'll take care of you in time of need. We're looking at a high tide at 12:56 a.m. and a low tide at 12:28 p.m. That's just about a 12-hour block right there. Today is the October 10th, and you can see good strong tides going on into the weekend, and it's going to be in great shape there. Marine forecast, northeast at 5 to 10, okay? That takes care of our weather. We'll be right back with our special guest. All right, welcome back, and look who's here this morning, Lieutenant Stan Kirkland.
Good morning. Good morning, Winston. How you doing?
We have much fun talking off the air as we do on the air, all kind of good
I'm just
stories.
Helping you with some commercials if you want some help.
Some of these stories we want to keep off the air, okay? So tell us what's going on. Tell us what's going on with FWC right now.
Okay, Winston. First thing, I think we talked about it already, but the deer import rule is in effect. The Commission took action in September to ban the importation of deer into Florida to keep CWD out of the state. Winston, I went online yesterday, and in just a couple of minutes, here's two things that I downloaded. This is from Arizona, this is from Pennsylvania, and you go right on down the list, and every state, including Florida, has rules and things that are posted to prevent CWD, which is chronic wasting disease, from being brought back into the state. And I wanted to say that, or use that to say this. If you're listening and you plan, if you're a hunter or fisherman, or hunter, if you plan to go to some of these states where CWD is found, and it's in 22 states, all of the states have it on their website if they're a state that has CWD. You're not allowed to hold heads of trophies back into the state if it's any member of the deer family.
So that's deer, elk or anything like that?
That's exactly right. You'd have to just bring the antlers back and a clean skull plate or boned out meat. You would not be allowed to bring back any spinal cord material. And the reason is because that's where this disease, it's a kind of disease that can be transmitted from deer to deer. We want to keep it out of our state, and taxidermists know that if somebody brings a deer in, say from Illinois or Missouri or somewhere, or Kansas, wherever CWD is found, and I'm not picking on those states, but I'm just saying if you bring it in, it's got to be just a clean skull plate in a rack, and then we can take, and you have no problem. But if it's something else, then we get involved, and I don't know that necessarily a citation will be written, but we get involved, and you may lose your trophy. Yeah, and because that stuff has to be incinerated, and you can't. We don't want that. It's a nightmare. It's a multi-million-dollar nightmare when you get into the state. Some of these states have tried to eradicate deer over large areas, so you can just imagine the scenario if you're a private leaseholder and you find out you got this disease, and
Wow.
it can be transmitted from deer to deer. We don't need it. We don't want it, and we need to keep it out of the state. So anyway, but also, Winston, on the subject to deer, you and I were talking a minute ago about a great case officers have made, just made over in, actually over in Walton County and over in Okaloosa County on Eglin Air Force Base.
That's amazing. They got some nice trophy deer.
Yeah, there were 4 individuals. They were shooting deer at night, and we've gone to the state attorney. They've been direct file, which means these people are being noticed since officers did not actually witness the violation. The people are all being notified by the state attorney's office that when their court date is, and then they face some pretty stiff penalties. Not only do they face, depending on the outcome of the court case, they face the possibility, there's 2 rifles that have been seized. These are expensive guns. They face fines, a possibility of jail time. But on top of that, Winston, they can be banned from hunting in Florida for up to 3 years under the Wildlife Violator Compact. And again, it all depends what the judge says and how this proceeds. But they can be banned from hunting in Florida for up to 3 years. And the 39 or 38 there's 39 states in the Wildlife Violator Compact. All 39 states now honor each other. So when they go in and they do a database search, if you've been charged with a crime like this in Florida, some people may laugh at it and may think it's not that big a deal. But when you go to those other states and you try to buy a license, guess what? You're blocked from buying a license. You can't legally hunt. And that's a big deal, particularly if you've banked on going to that state and all of a sudden you find out your past is caught up with you.
Well, I see they were charged. They were during closed season in a closed area, and discharging a firearm from public highway, willful and wanton waste of wildlife. So those are. And they're charged with this, and it was on Highway 85, which is a major highway. But that's in the Duke Field area over on Eglin. We had another case night before last. Before you get to that, you said that has some nice envelopment.
Oh, I've seen the photos. They're evidence photos, and so we can't release the photos. But they were sending text to each other, sending these photos, or texting each other, sending photos, and then, if you realize Facebook, they I don't know what they were thinking, because it didn't take long for them to get circulated.
They were not thinking.
Yeah, and not only that, Eglin can ban them from being on the base for up to 60 months. So if these guys like to hunt Eglin, guess what? They're done for at least 5 years.
Good, very good. And the other case you were mentioning?
Just had another case night before last. One of our officers had a call from somebody over in particularly Okaloosa County. He got to the field. He actually found the deer in the field, and the suspects were gone. And he actually took a lawn chair, backed up in the under the tree line, and waited. And about an hour later, these guys, the ones that did the shooting, went home and got some buddies, sent them back, thinking they were going to be smart. And so it was kind of like opening a bag and catching the whole crew in one bag, because not only did they get the group that came to pick up the deer, they got the group that was at home with their feet up on the coffee table. So they went to their house and got them too. So, but they killed a buck and a doe, killed a big, pretty 8-point and a doe, and then so if you know of anything like this that's occurring, or know where that there are violations taking place, we have the Wildlife Alert Hotline, and you can go to our website, you can call our office, and we appreciate the information, because that's how officers make some cases, is a pattern of activity.
Well, when I look at something like that, they're stealing from all of us.
Sure they are.
And some little kid, and maybe some little 10-year-old kid, could get their first buck with an 8-point, and now it's gone, and they won't have opportunity.
Right.
So,
and these deer had to be donated to a facility to feed them to captive animals. That's what, because they between the time where they had to charge these individuals, do all of the administrative things that have to be done, get back, and then have to process the deer, they couldn't. So they had to donate them.
All right, let's take our break, folks. We'll be right back. All right, folks, welcome back. So here with Stan Kirkland, and we're talking about all kinds of stuff going on. We're going to talk about some stuff later, but right now we're talking about squirrel season, or you want?
Let's talk about squirrel season briefly. The squirrel season opens October 12th on private land, and one of our lieutenants was mentioning to me this week, and last year we had a little issue. It's only for private land. If you want to hunt a public area, you need to go to our website, check when the squirrel season opens, because a lot of the public areas, the season is not the same as private land.
Yeah.
So go check. But it opens this weekend, October the 12th. You go knock yourself out, go squirrel hunt, bring them home, and you eat squirrel?
I love squirrel.
I do too.
Bobby likes squirrel too. We're going to bring him a mess.
A lot of people, I tell you, I grew up eating squirrel. A lot of people look at it and go, I wouldn't eat that, but I'm telling you, squirrel
it's good.
Yep. We used to, had a good friend, his mother made squirrel perlo. You've heard of chicken perlo, but she would take squirrel and put it in rice and cook it, and it was delicious. I know a lot of people probably eating breakfast.
I know right now, just think how good your breakfast would be, a little bit of squirrel perlo.
There you go, our fried squirrel for breakfast. So we may start a trend.
All right.
The other thing, Winston, we were talking about deer for a minute. A lot of people we've had a lot of people ask us about what happened to the proposals, the deer proposals that we were going over this past spring, and that's not dead. It's going through the review process right now. We're still looking at antler restrictions south of the interstate versus north of the interstate, whether we're going to do this or not. If we're going to adjust our antlerless deer days more or less south of the interstate. So all of that is going to come back in this coming spring. It's not been done away with. It's just right now going through an internal process, and the commission will, but it'll be discussed in front of our commission, and there'll be some action whether to adopt that or not coming up in the spring of 2014. So that'll be coming up. Okay.
Be here before you know it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the story on the stone crabs?
Well, can we mention bears before we talk about stone crab?
Yes. Let's do bears.
And then we'll talk about stone crabs for just a minute. Bears, we just did a thing, and we're encouraging people to make sure, people particularly here in Bay County on the east side of the county, having over in the Callaway area, the Avondale area. Yesterday somebody called and was telling one of our staff that a bear ran up to them at a car. I don't lend validity to any of this. I'm just telling you what the person said. I have no idea whether the bear actually ran up to him or not. But anyway, what has happened is these bears have learned that garbage is easy food for them. They eat up to 25,000 calories a day in the fall of the year. They don't hibernate here in the south. Bears just reduce their movement, and the females give birth in January. But we've got a lot of bears in our area. We even had one in my neighborhood last year in Lynn Haven. That was, and I thought my neighbor was seeing things, but went out there and it was a pretty big bear just down the street. In fact, one of the Lynn Haven police officers actually photographed the bear, and they're amazing photographs. But point is, make sure if you live and know you got bears in the area, put your garbage away, or put your garbage can in an outbuilding, or either build a caddy, which is a little wooden structure to keep the bear from getting to the garbage, or either talk to your service provider about getting a bear-proof garbage can, because we're kind of, in some places we got lots of bears. One interesting thing, we've got a survey, a census that'll start on our bear population in Central Florida in 2 areas. It'll start in 2014. It probably will not be done up here till 2015, but we're going to do the whole state, but we have to do it a piece at the time.
Well, that'll be interesting.
It will. The last survey showed we had between 2,500 and 3,000 bears. We think that was 12 years ago.
Oh man!
Excuse me, 11 years ago. And so that was in 2002. So we're, we've got more than that now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So the big thing, and we talk about it over and over again, is like I said, the trash, the food. That's what they're going after.
That's it. And they'll, like say, it's called hyperphagia. That's the drive for them to go from 5,000 to 7,000 calories a day to 25,000. So they're eating 3 and 4, sometimes 5 times as much in the fall months as they do. And we wish they would eat acorns and persimmons and dig in dead logs and look for grubs. But unfortunately, when they stand in the woods and they can smell your garbage can 100 yards away, guess what? They're going to come to your garbage can. So you gotta keep your garbage put away.
All right. All right, let's go take a final break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the final segment of Panhandle Outdoors. Here with Lieutenant Stan Kirkland. We're talking about all kind of good information. But right now, let's look at Mark Coward's fishing forecast for today. Edgewater Beach Realty, 832-6000. We're looking at our times this morning, 5:14 to 7:14. It still has some time left right now. And this afternoon, 5:43 to 7:43. And don't forget, if you want your weekend times, you can always check our website. We have the weekend times on there, and you can check it out then. All right, Stan, we didn't get around to stone crab, so tell us what's going on with that.
Stone crab season opens the 15th. Winston will run until May the 15th. You're allowed the claws have to be 2 3/4 inches from the elbow to the tip of the lower immovable claw, which is the lower claw. People that know what they're doing, this is old hat to them. You're allowed 1 gallon of crab claws per day if you're a recreational crabber. Winston, we recommend you not take both crabs, and you're prohibited from taking them from females. Now, if you'll turn the female over, they'll see the sponge mass, that brown sponge mass on the bottom of them. But a gallon per person, and it's 2 gallons max per boat. So it doesn't matter if you got 3 people in the boat, you're still limited to 2 gallons in the boat. But if you're by yourself, you'd be limited, of course, to 1 gallon.
Okay.
And like I say, stone crab season is coming in. Winston, let me mention one thing about mullet. A lot of people are cast netting mullet. Mullet are fat right now, and we've got, I tell you, mullet numbers seem to be really high this summer. In the fall of the year, you're limited to 50 mullet in your boat. If you're on the hill or you're by yourself wading, you're limited to 50 mullet if you're a single individual. But if you're in a boat, you're still limited to 50 mullet in the fall of the year from September 1 through December. So it doesn't matter how many people you got, you're still limited to 50. We have a lot of people that go up here and fish for mullet in Black Creek on the Chattahoochee River. Right. Doesn't matter how many people you got in the boat, you're limited to 50.
That's a boat limit.
It's a boat limit in the fall of the year. And
I guarantee you this weekend there'll be a lot of them being caught.
Right. Yeah, in fact, I was telling you a story about a friend of mine that was cast netting the other day and had a bull shark try to take his fish from him. He had a stringer attached to his belt, and he told me he ran out of the water screaming like a 7th grade cheerleader when he realized he had a shark up.
He said it's a good-sized shark.
Yeah, he said it was a good-sized shark, and I'll tell you, that's not the kind of way you want to end your trip.
And when you wade fishing, that's something you have to be aware of, because you put your fish on a stringer, and that blood that's going to get out there in the water, and they're going to be close by.
Yep.
Yeah, we did the same thing in Tampa. I remember I showed it on here 2 or 3 months ago. We had them come after us. Yeah.
Yep. And in fact, we were fishing in St. Joe Bay a couple of years ago, and we had some speckled trout or spotted sea trout on a stringer, and we had a shark came up from a trough and started. There was 3 of us together, and he started circling us. And I'm telling you, that's when you decide you're the bait. You're no longer the fisherman. You're the bait, and you need to get out of the water.
That's right. All right, we got a few more minutes left. What else do you have now?
Well, Winston, it's just a good time of the year. If you're, let me mention this about red snapper. Good time of the year to be going. The season runs in state waters through the 21st. Federal waters, it will close on October the 14th. There's a lot in the news right now about the federal shutdown affecting some federal waters, but that's not up here. That's down in South Florida and 11 or 1,200 square mile area of South Florida, but that doesn't affect us. But red snapper, the bag limit is still 2 fish. I noticed the seas are supposed to be flat for a few days.
It'll be a good weekend.
Yeah, and I think you got beat up the other day.
We went. Yeah, I got a lot of good comment on that video we showed, and we did catch some good quality snapper, but we did get beat up. But you got to wait out the options, and we enjoyed it. I mean, if you catch big fish and all, I can put up with that.
That's worth it, isn't
it?
Yeah.
To me, it is.
Yeah. Good. But
you had a good little fishing trip the other day.
Yeah, I went the other day, and we caught. We were fishing for redfish and speckled trout or spotted sea trout, and all we were catching though was little grouper, and they were coming up hitting.
They're coming up to top water.
They were coming up to the top, hitting plugs, and we must have we caught several of these. They were fat as they can be, about 12 inches long. Of course, we took the hooks out of them and released them as gingerly as you can. But it was amazing though to see that many grouper that are in on our flats feeding right now, and they're just as fat and plump. And of course, that's next year's fish.
Let me ask you this real quick, because I know your background and in your education on the vending tools. Someone's telling me that the vending tool for the snapper and the deep water fish is the federal made.
Well, the federal requirement has gone away.
Okay.
They took that off. Due to the rule cycle, our agency could not already remove it, but it's in the process right now.
Okay.
And within the next, really in November at this next meeting coming up, it is on, and I have to say this, it is on the Commission's agenda to remove, and I can't imagine anything preventing that, and I don't want to say the commissioners are absolutely going to do it, but it is on the agenda to remove that in state waters as well.
Next time you're on the show, we don't have time now, but next time you're on the show, let's take a look at that, because to me, it looked like it was working when we did it. I mean, because this past trip we had, about 90% of our snapper were able to go down. And about only 2 of them floated off all day long.
We can talk about the pros and cons.
Okay. Very well. Stan, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Winston. Always enjoy it.
All right, buddy. Folks, thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. You do something good for some other day. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.